Hello everyone. In this video we will discuss about BIOS versus bootloader, anatomy of an embedded system and some storage consideration. So the learning outcomes are, after completing this session student will be able to compare BIOS versus bootloader. Next is student will be able to demonstrate anatomy of an embedded system, and student will be able to outline the storage consideration. So let's have a look at all these things one by one. First one, BIOS. So what is BIOS? So whether it is hardware or software, it is a piece of software. BIOS is this piece of software. Basically it is one program. So when the first power applied to the desktop computer, a software program runs called the BIOS. So first program that is run when your power is applied to the computer, that software is called as a BIOS. BIOS stand for Basic Input Output Software. The BIOS might actually be stored in flash memory to facilitate field upgrade of the BIOS program itself. What BIOS does? BIOS, Basic Input Output Software program, first gain control of the processor when power is applied. So when as soon as you will apply power and press the power button, the BIOS gain all the control on the processor. Its primary responsibility is to initialize the hardware. So which are the hardware? Because when you consider your PC or laptop, in that PC hardware is first one hard drive, keyboard, mouse, CD-ROM. These are the hardware. So its BIOS primary job or its responsibility is to initialize the hardware part. So to initialize the keyboard, mouse, hard drive. So its job is to initialize the hardware, especially the memory subsystem, and load on operating system from the PC hard drive. So second responsibility is what? The it will load memory it will load operating system from the hard drive, because you will save your whole operating system in the hard drive, and BIOS initialize the hard drive, then it will load operating system from hard drive. Okay. Next is bootloader. So bootloader is also one software. It is one piece of software, and it is having some important tasks, or it is having it will perform some certain tasks. So which are the follows? It will initialize the critical hardware components such as SDRAM controller, IO controller, and graphics controller. So bootloader will initialize critical hardware components. It will initialize system memory in the preparation for passing control to the operating system. Bootloader allocates system resources such as memory and interrupt circuit to peripheral controller as necessary. Again, bootloader provides a mechanism for locating and loading your operating system image, because when your operating system BIOS will initialize hardware, and it will it will load operating system from the hardware. So bootloader provides mechanism for locating and loading your operating system image. And again, bootloader loads and passes control to the operating system. So passing any required startup information that might be required, such as total memory size, clock rate, serial port speed, and other low level hardware specific configurable data. So this is all done by one simple bootloader, and it is one simple software. It is not a hardware part. Now let's discuss an anatomy of an embedded system. simple embedded system. So the embedded system should have processor that is of, it may be of different sizes. We will consider one 32-bit RISC processor. It will have one flash memory, that is flash. Then it will have real time clock, that is RTC, to manage the time. Then it will have what, main memory, that is SDRAM. Then it will having serial port. The whole embedded system will having serial port to manage the data, and the serial port. It will have USB controller and USB, where you can interface USB. Ethernet controller, if you want to give Ethernet support, or if you want to give internet connection, so it will have Ethernet port also. And it should have Wi-Fi, so wireless modem 802.11 chipset, so some simple antenna. So this is the simple anatomy of an embedded system. So the system centered as a 32-bit RISC processor. Next is flash memory, used for non-volatile program and data storage. Next is memory is synchronous dynamic random access memory, that is SDRAM, and might contain anywhere from the of a few megabytes to hundred of megabytes depending on the application. If your application needs larger memory, then it will have large memory. A real-time clock module should have, because it will keep the time of the day. Anatomy also includes an Ethernet port, USB interface, as well as serial port to access or to send data from sensor to device, or from host to sensor. So by using RS-232, it will have the 802.11 wireless module. It implements the wireless modem function. Now, typical embedded Linux development setup. So, what is the Linux development setup? We will discuss in this slide. First, what you should have, one simple PC or desktop. One desktop, that is called as host development. Means if you want to develop, or if you want to write, what you want to write the code for your embedded Linux board. So you have to write your code in host development, and then you can send that code to your Linux board. There one Ethernet hub should be there, where you can interface host development to the Ethernet port via LAN cable. And then you will have your embedded Linux target board. So if you want to connect from host development to the embedded Linux target board, so you can connect via Ethernet hub, or you can directly connect via RS-232 serial port. Now how you will connect this one? By using terminal. So there are various softwares. If you want to access this embedded Linux board from host part, so you will have to install one PuTTY software, or there are various terminal software you can install. So from that you can access total entire embedded Linux target board via using RS-232 or Ethernet hub. So if you want to write a code or C language code simply, so what you have to do, first of all you have to log in on this embedded Linux board via Ethernet hub, and then you can have access to the embedded Linux board. So after that you can write the code for embedded Linux target board, and that code will be written in host development, but actually you will access the embedded Linux target board by using this host. Next part is storage consideration. One of the most challenging aspect of embedded system is that most embedded system have limited physical resources. The Pentium 4 machine on your desktop might have 180 GB of hard drive or maybe maximum. So it is not uncommon to find embedded system with a fraction of that amount, obviously, because if your PC is having 180 GB of hard drive space, your embedded system should have little bit small, but it will have memory. In many cases, the hard drive is typically replaced by smaller and less expensive non-volatile storage devices. But the disadvantage is what? It is little bit slower than hard drive. Hard drive are bulky, have rotating parts and sensitive to physical shock and require multiple power voltages and makes unsuitable for many embedded systems because you cannot directly install your or you can use hard drive for your embedded system. You cannot use. If you want to use storage, then you have to use non-volatile storage devices. Flash memory. The flash memory module is what wide variety of consumer devices such as digital camera and PDA. So both the examples of embedded system. Both are the examples. So in digital camera there are flash memory. If you want to use that flash memory, you can use it, but you cannot install or you cannot use hard drive for digital cameras. So digital camera is one of the embedded system. These modules can be thought of a solid state hard drive or capable of storing many megabytes, even gigabytes of data in tiny footprint. So it is using solid state hard drive. They contain no moving part, obviously, and relatively it is rugged and operated on single common power supply. So this is the biggest advantage of a flash memory. It will have no rotating part. Like hard drive, it will have rotating part, it will have one disk. Flash memory comes in variety of physical packages and capacities. Embedded system with a little of 1 MB or 2 MB of non-volatile storage. Storage requirements for embedded Linux system range from 4 MB to 256 MB or more. Next is boot block flash architecture. So one simple block of memory, it is top of flash and it is bottom of flash. So this part, 8 KB part, all the 8 KB part are considered as parameter blocks and this 64 KB parts are main blocks. So typically flash memory device contains many erasable blocks. For example, 4 MB flash chip might contain 64 erase blocks of 64 KB each. 4 MB flash chip. The bootloader is stored in a small block. I have told you bootloader is what? Simple is a piece of software and you can store that bootloader in a smaller block here. The kernel and other required data are stored in the larger block because kernel is relatively maximum size and bootloader is having smaller blocks or its size is small. Next is NAND flash. So NAND flash is also one memory. NAND flash is relatively new flash technology. NAND flash devices improve upon some of the limitations of traditional NOR flash by offering smaller block size. So earlier the memory is of NOR and now it is NAND flash. So NAND flash will provide you smaller block sizes. So it will very easy to erase or write. So its speed will be higher than NOR blocks. So the conclusion is what resulting in a faster and more efficient writes and generally more efficient use of flash array. So you can use uh, the writing speed and reading speed will be more if your small block size is what small. NAND devices are accessed serially through a complex interface that varies among vendors. Data is accessed in serial bursts which are the far smaller than NOR flash block size. Write cycle lifetime for NAND flash is an order of magnitude greater than NOR flash, although erase time and significantly smaller. So it will erase time is smaller than NOR flash. Next is flash usage. Top up flash. The all flash user means memory that is used by bootloader and configuration. So consider this is the top up flash. The first top, upper top is used by bootloader and configuration. The bootloader is often placed in the top or bottom of the flash memory array. And Linux kernel and RAM disk file system images are compressed. So it can be used after bootloader. And next is upgrade space. The bootloader handle the decompression task during boot cycle. So this is what flash usage. Top of flash there is one bootloader and configuration, then Linux kernel is used, then ramdisk file system image, and then upgrade space. So up till now we have discussed various points. First one is BIOS versus bootloader. We have discussed what is BIOS, what is bootloader. Both are the one simple software. Next we have discussed anatomy of an embedded system, which are the major consideration or which are the major parts of the embedded system. Then storage consideration. So let's move on to the next video.